Hello and welcome to Booklist Fall 2024 Youth Preview. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Today's slide presentation and title list are included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by typing the URL on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions and will pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the live transcript icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select Show or Hide Subtitles from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Golda Rademacher, Library Sales and Marketing Director at W.W. Norton and Company, Carolina Schwarz, Publisher Consultant for Albatros Books, Hannah Kettle, Marketing and Publicity Manager at Flying Eye Books, Ali Russell, Marketing Manager at Nosy Crow, and Kristen Luby, Associate Director, School and Library Marketing at Abrams Books. We will kick things off with Golda Rademacher. Golda is the Library Sales and Marketing Director for W.W. Norton and Company, which includes the Norton Young Readers imprint and distributes publishers like Thames and Hudson, Tilbury House, The Experiment, and Abbeville. She has a seasonal email newsletter, and you can find her on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky at W.W. Norton Library. Thanks for being here, Golda. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Taylor, and hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. So I have some new titles from our Norton Young Readers imprint and from our client publishers. And then here are some titles that are available now, and I'd like to point out that Rex Ogle, Paula Yu, and Henry Hertz will all be appearing at ALA Annual. And now one of our biggest books for fall is In Praise of Mystery by Poet Laureate Ada Limon and illustrated by Peter Cease. Ada Limon wrote this poem that will be engraved on the Europa Clipper spacecraft, which launches in October to go to Jupiter and its moons. The poem, along with the intricate, luminous illustrations by Peter Cease, celebrates humankind's endless curiosity, asks us what it means to explore beyond our known world, and shows how the unknown can reflect us back to ourselves. Ada Limon was recently named a Time Woman of the Year, and she has been doing a lot of outreach through the Library of Congress as the Poet Laureate. Peter Cease received the Caldecott Honor for Starry Messenger and has received so many accolades for his work. And the pairing of these two artists makes for a really beautiful book. And we will also publish a Spanish language edition in hardcover at the same time. Barb Rosenstock and Catherine Roy have collaborated before on Otis and Will Discover the Deep, which was an ALA notable book, an Orbis Pictus recommended book, and received many other accolades. Their new book is Sea Without a Shore, about the Sargasso Sea. Following a single blade of the extraordinary sargassum seaweed as it grows and spreads, readers see all the amazing things that it provides. The text and the gorgeous illustrations show the interdependence of all the organisms in the sea. Barb and Catherine went to Bermuda to do their own research, and they consulted with leading oceanographers at Woods Hole. This will be a perfect addition to any of your nature, science, ocean, or environment reading lists, and it just got a star review from Publishers Weekly. And Catherine will be at ALA Annual on Saturday, June 29th. The Oddball Book of Armadillos comes from the creators of The Upside Down Book of Sloths. This delightful new picture book traces the history of one of Earth's strangest animals. Elizabeth Shreve explores the evolutionary history of armadillos and how they became the burrowing, swimming, roly-poly, armored predators of today. She pairs modern species like the adorable pink fairy armadillo, the screaming hairy armadillo, and the iconic nine-banded armadillo with their ancient counterparts, such as the glyptodont, which could be as large as a car, had a turtle-like dome of armor, and even a spiked tail club. The book digs deep into the evolutionary history of armadillos and their future in our changing world. In Good Night, Starry Night, Joseph Coelho's soothing poems are paired with famous but child-friendly artworks to take readers on a gentle journey into dreamland. There is also some advice in the back of the book from a child psychologist on how to help kids fall asleep. The Vincent van Gogh Atlas shows young readers the many places Van Gogh went, what life was like, and the people he met. He wrote countless letters to his family as he traveled, using the world around him as a subject for hundreds of drawings and paintings. Full of colorful illustrations, historic photographs, letters, detailed maps, and other documents, this book lets young readers join Vincent on his journeys around Europe. Dear Vincent is a heartwarming snapshot of a happy and creative period in Van Gogh's life. This story focuses on the bond between two brothers and how Theo's support and encouragement helped Vincent to reach his full artistic potential. Both of these Vincent van Gogh books are being published to coincide with an exhibition at the National Gallery in London this fall. If I Had a Dragon is the 9th book in the If I Had series, where a little girl imagines what it would be like to have an unusual pet. There's a lot of humor and play with the text and illustrations, and I think kids will enjoy thinking about what kind of pet they might like. And here are the other books in the series that are all available now. Through 14 stories, this picture book edition of the multi-award winning Black Artists Shaping the World makes the work and lives of Black artists accessible to younger readers. Featuring full-color reproductions of 14 pieces of art and illustrations of the artists at work, this picture book is an ideal introduction to contemporary art for young children and a fantastic tool for teachers and library staff wishing to decolonize and diversify their collections. In Courage Every Day, a little girl asks her father what courage is. He tells her about big, heroic acts of courage and small acts. And as she goes about her day and looks at the world around her, she sees all the small things that can be courageous too. This picture book is a gentle introduction to courage and lets a child see how their own actions, even small ones, can have an impact. Listen, Wonder, Ask takes the "where are you from" question that can often be annoying or othering and reframes it into asking what your coming here story is. The book starts with a young girl asking another girl on the playground what her coming here story is, and then it expands out in a pay it forward kind of way as more and more people in the community connect with each other by sharing their stories. This lovely picture book encourages readers to engage with those around them, seeing each similarity and difference as part of the colorful landscape of community. Journey is the 6th book in our Eyewitness series of narrative nonfiction. Each of these books is autobiographical and talks about something the author went through as a teenager or young adult that led them to be more of an activist in their community. When Luis was a young teen, he journeyed alone to the US to stay with his father, who had come years earlier to find work. With a voice that is both accessible and engaging, Luis brings forward an empowering first-person account of a young man finding strength in his identity and using this strength to become a community leader, a police intervention activist, and an advocate for mental health. The previous books in this series are available in hardcover and paperback. We also have a Spanish language edition of Hurricane available, and we will be translating Vision and Journey into Spanish next year. White House Clubhouse, White House on Fire is the 2nd book in a middle grade series by Sean O'Brien. These books use a kind of time travel like the Magic Tree House that sends Marissa and Clara, daughters of the president, back in time to help a president from the past. In this one, they end up in the War of 1812, rescuing paintings from the White House, meeting Francis Scott Key, and helping James Madison. The books are fast-paced and filled with adventure, with a powerhouse duo young readers will root for. How to Be a Manga Artist is a follow-up to How to Draw a Graphic Novel, which came out last year. Presented in the style of a manga, this book takes readers through the complete creative and professional process of making manga, from spark of inspiration to publication. How to Be a Manga Artist also includes a chapter by renowned Japanese illustrator Fumio Obata, who encourages readers to look beyond the aesthetics of manga and put themselves into the story, to develop a style that is original and true to them. It also features biographies of famous manga artists, definitions of key Japanese terms, and a list of must-read classics. And then here are some more books coming out this fall, and I hope you'll have a chance to check out our full catalog on Edelweiss. And here's my contact information again. Thank you so much to all of you for listening and for all of the work that you do in your communities.
Thank you so much, Golda. And now we'll be joined by Carolina Schwartz. Carolina is a children's publishing consultant with 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and content development. Through We the Content, she has worked with publishers of different sizes from Europe, Latin America, and the US, developing systems that generate ongoing demand for their titles and reduce returns, ultimately putting more books in the hands of young readers. Take it away, Carolina.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy to be here to introduce Albatros Spring Picture Books. Albatros publishes great educational content, hidden and entertaining book. In the US, the list includes approximately 15 titles this season, most of which are non-fiction. So here we go. And our first title is so much fun. In Snake Milker and Other Animal Jobs, kids will explore unconventional occupations in a truly humorous way. With 28 fascinating animal-related professions described here, some real and some not, this is the ultimate job guide for animal lovers. From the intriguing role of an animal stomatologist to the whimsical task of being an ostrich babysitter, this book empowers the imagination of young animal lovers as it offers a refreshing perspective that they do not have to limit their dreams to being a vet alone. Fun, informative, and versatile, Snake Milker and Other Animal Jobs is full of fun illustrations and colorful pages. This guide is a perfect addition to any library or school library collection, as well as a great gift or perfect for family reading, allowing kids and adults to bond over shared laughter. Next up, we have We're Off to the Forest, which is the latest addition to Katarina's Small Wonders series from international best-selling author-illustrator Katarina Makurova. In this book, readers are invited to a heartwarming fall adventure with Daddy Squirrel and his son, discovering nature's magic and ecological lessons along the way. We're Off to the Forest paints a vivid fall picture as leaves cascade in a dance of color. Daddy Squirrel and son venture into the forest daily, not just for supplies, but also for something special. Amidst the rustling leaves and chilling air, a charming story emerges, revealing the extraordinary in the ordinary and how even the smallest things can weave magic into the vast world. Kids can follow the duo's daily visits, caring for a planted acorn and explore the significance of acorns for forest animals and the promise of a small acorn growing into a mighty oak. And here we have two books in the My First Book of Nature series, inviting readers to learn how 11 animals eat and how 11 animals sleep and what their habitats are. In Do Fish Go Fishing, readers will discover the unique habitats of these animals and explore the whimsical ways they consume their meals. Diving into the underwater realm of the platypus, kids will witness the colossal appetite of the elephant and marvel at the varied dining techniques of creatures like fleas, chimpanzees, and hummingbirds. Through vibrant visuals and engaging storytelling, This book offers an immersive and educational exploration of the captivating world of animal eaters. In Do Sheep Count Sheep, young readers explore how animals rest in burrows, treetops, underwater, and even in flight, offering an enchanting journey into the animal kingdom's slumber realm. This is an open invitation to delve into the peculiar sleeping patterns of the giraffe, the nocturnal bat, and the laid-back albatross, discovering fascinating details about positions and durations that set animal sleep apart from our human routines. And we have another series. Friends and Feelings and Family and Feelings are part of the Exploring Emotion series, a first gentle yet relatable introduction to emotions and a great addition to any SCL library. It empowers young readers to navigate the complexities of emotions and family changes with courage and understanding. In Family and Feelings, Veronica anticipates a garden party celebrating the arrival of her soon-to-be sibling. Yet, beneath the surface, she grapples with worries about family changes and the fear of being loved less. And Friends and Feelings is a heartfelt exploration of a child's first day at preschool or school, guiding young readers through relatable emotions, interactive learning, and valuable life skills for healthy emotional development. With inside pages made of durable cardstock paper, both titles are structured following a situation plus explanation plus options for coping with each scenario sequence, helping children process the content. They provide gentle guidance on how to understand and express emotions, setting the foundation for healthy emotional development, and it also features infographics to reinforce the lessons learned. Moving swiftly on, the Everyday STEM series supports learning of STEM in the classroom, and it extends it beyond school hours with engaging content that keeps young minds curious and eager to discover the science in their surroundings. These two books in the series tackle measurement and fractions and physics and chemistry in a fun and easy way. Planning Grandma's Party seamlessly weaves science into the fabric of holidays and celebrations. Packed with activities for kids to try at home, this book transforms theoretical concepts into hands-on adventures, making learning an exciting and immersive experience within the backdrop of celebrating Grandma and our love for her. Our camping trip is more than a book. It's a key to unlocking the world of STEM for curious young minds. Designed to connect theoretical concepts to real-life scenarios, this book ensures that STEM becomes a part of everyday adventures, from cooking to traveling. Both books provide engaging content that keeps young minds curious and eager to discover science in their surroundings, connecting theoretical concepts to everyday life, but showcasing how science plays a role in cooking, baking, traveling, planning, and more. It also presents real-world applications and activities to try at home for a 360 approach. Where to? A trip around the neighborhood. Find your way around the city in this ode to urban and community exploration. Through engaging stories and practical guidance, children learn about the library, post office, police station, hairdresser, museum, and more, combining practical information with fascinating facts about a city's history, landmarks, and hidden gems. Join 8 adventurous friends as they embark on a journey through the city, tackling everyday challenges and exploring exciting places. Each child faces unique situations, offering young readers a chance to navigate urban life, solve problems, and discover the wonders hidden in familiar places. Fostering confidence and independence, this playful guide encourages kids to explore their surroundings with curiosity. By mastering city navigation from above, kids develop a sense of confidence and independence. This book helps them feel capable of exploring their surroundings and discovering new places. It's also a perfect introduction to professions and community helpers. Last but not least, this book is full of playfulness and hidden details as kids can look for funny situations in the illustrations. Tuck Your Earlobe is empathy building in a funny pocket-sized companion to understanding body language. In this title, young readers learn to decode emotions, intentions, and feelings conveyed through gestures, expressions, and postures. Whether deciphering a friend's honesty, detecting nervousness, or identifying confidence, this book serves as a visual vocabulary guide to the language the body speaks without words. From everyday scenarios to professional settings, the book covers a spectrum of situations, making it a comprehensive and engaging resource for children eager to grasp the fundamentals of nonverbal communication. This visual vocabulary builder describes body language relating to posture, head, including the head itself, eyes, and smile, the chest, hands, feet, gestures, and sitting, packed with jolly pictures and concise text. This learning book is a valuable tool for kids who want to learn the art of reading people without the need to memorizing complex vocabulary or grammar. And I'm going to close with a preview of another installment of the Large Encyclopedia series, in this case, with the Atlas of Prehistoric Animals, which is publishing in March of 2025 already. And as a last note, all the books that you just saw are available through major wholesalers. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Please don't forget to check out our website and follow us on social media for updates, new releases, and much more. Thanks again. Bye.
Thank you so much, Carolina. Our next presenter will be Hannah Kettle. Hannah is the marketing and publicity manager of Flying Eye Books, where she works across their entire list of children's books, from engaging board books and beautiful picture books to exciting comic books and thought-provoking graphic novels. Prior to working at FEB, Hannah worked as a marketing exec at Nosy Crow. Hannah is passionate about getting children excited about reading. She holds a master's degree in history from the University of Nottingham. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi everyone, it's lovely to chat to you today. We've got some beautiful Flying Eye books to share with you, so let's get started. Next, thank you. First up, we've got picture books. Next. The Goodnight Garage by Tori Korsara and illustrated by Meg Hunt is a soothing bedtime story with a gentle rhyming text, ideal for little vehicle lovers. Next. As night falls on Motor Isle, not all of its residents go to bed. Follow fire trucks, ambulances, and other vehicles from dusk to dawn as they drive about town, carrying out important nighttime jobs that keep Motor Isle running smoothly. As the morning light appears, tuck them in and say sweet dreams. Next. Author Tori Korsara is an editor from New York and now lives in England with her 2 vehicle-obsessed sons, and illustrator Meg Hunt lives in Providence, Rhode Island with her husband and their dog Laszlo. The Goodnight Garage is out in hardback on September 3rd. Next. Oh, Look a Boat by Andrew J. Ross is an uplifting and humorous story about adventure. Next. When a curious little mouse discovers a boat by his front door, he climbs aboard and accidentally sets out to sea. Next. But it's not easy being a little mouse in a big world. Drifting farther and farther away, Mouse passes volcanic lands, sails through icy waters, and battles a ferocious storm. Will he ever find his way back home? With a great refrain, readers and their audiences will be prompted to join in and say, "Oh, look, a boat." And the story comes full circle when Badger finds the boat. "Oh, look, a boat." Next. Andrew is based in Toronto, Canada, and is best known for his work on Kung Fu Panda 3, Penguins of Madagascar, and Captain Underpants. Oh, Look a Boat is out in hardback on September 3rd. Next. Now on to graphic readers. Next. Monster Support Group, The Creature's Origin by Laura Suarez is the third in a charming series of graphic readers that tells the story behind your favourite monsters. Next. Meet Frederick, taught by his maker that monsters don't cry or read or sniff flowers. He is taken around the country, demonstrating his might and monstrous nature. When Frederick realises there might be more to life than terrorising, he takes to the mountains to escape. But now his maker has come looking for him, and Frederick must face up to his past, be brave, and show everyone that monsters don't always have to be monstrous. A mixture of spreads and simple panels make this a great gateway picture book between picture books and comic books. Next. Laura Suarez is based in Spain and has studied fine art and comic illustration in Valencia and Barcelona. Monster support group The Creature's Origin is out in paperback on October 1st. Next. Hilda and Twig Hide from the Rain by Luke Pearson is a brand new adventure featuring our favourite blue-haired heroine Hilda and her trusty deer fox companion Twig, aimed at younger readers. Next. Hilda and Twig would never let a bit of rain get in the way of an adventure, but it's different when your forest exploration is interrupted by a big storm. Next. Sheltering in a mysterious mound in the earth, Twig quickly realises that trouble is afoot and that his best blue-haired friend is in danger. Unfortunately, he's never really thought of himself as the brave one, but it looks like he's going to have to step up and save Hilda from a whole load of scaly trouble. Inspired by seeing his own children interacting with the original Hilda comics, Luke created Hilda and Twig to introduce younger readers to the comic books, and fans will be excited to hear Twig's voice for the first time. Next. Luke Pearson is based in Nottingham, UK, and is the creator of the Hilda comic series. He is also a writer and the co-executive producer of the BAFTA award-winning animated series of the same name. Hilda and Twig Hide from the Rain is out in hardback on November 5th. Next. Up next is middle grade. Next. Cactus Kid 2, Rumble at the Rodeo by Emmanuel Guerrero is the second in a brilliantly funny comic series about a cactus on his journey to become a hero. Next. This time, Cactus Kid wants to master earth magic, but when Cactus Kid stumbles across the rodeo at the Muck Mines, he's pushed into the most epic battle of his life. Next. Facing down big spiders, giant rock creatures, and pesky posers who think they own the joint, can Cactus Kid train in time to show him who's boss? Next. Emmanuel is based in Santa Ana, California, and is often found at comic book festivals around the US. Those that suffer with migraines will be interested to know that there is some representation of that in this book. Cactus Kid 2, Rumble at the Rodeo, is out in paperback on October 1st. Next. Now for YA. Next. An exciting debut, Ditching Saskia by John Moore and illustrated by Needles, is a heartwarming, supernatural, slice-of-life graphic novel about exploring your sexuality, high school crushes, and dealing with grief. Next. Living with his grandfather and struggling in a new high school, Damien decides to summon his mother's ghost so he can talk things out, but he blows it and summons Saskia, a scruffy, annoying kid, instead. Next. Trying to settle into his new life, Damien doesn't need her hanging around trying to help him with his crush. But Saskia is suffering too, and everything they're both hiding deep down might just be what they both need to get some peace. We hope Ditching Saskia will appeal to a huge range of readers with its representation for LGBTQIA+, Southeast Asian and immigrant communities. Next. John Moore is based in London, England, and uses his writing to explore important subjects like grief and mental health. Needles is based in Manila, Philippines, and is inspired by classic manga. Ditching Saskia is out in paperback on October 1st. Next. And last but not least, non-fiction. Next. Wildlife in the Balance, The Species That Shape Earth's Ecosystems, written by Dr. Sharon Wismer and illustrated by Terry Poe, examines the most important animals on our planet and describes the remarkable ways they are helping to save it. Next. In this book, you'll learn about 25 keystone species around the world, from elephants to wolves, honeybees to beavers. For those that don't know, keystone species are animals or plants that play a crucial role in different habitats and have a huge impact on the environment around them. Entire ecosystems can depend on a single species, and they act as a glue that holds the ecosystem together. Next. Dr. Wismer is a scientist currently based in Switzerland, where she is leading a science communication project at the University of Neuchâtel. Terry Poe is based in the UK, where she currently works from a wooden cabin in the countryside. Wildlife in the Balance is out in hardback on August 6th. Next. Sorry, next again, please. Into the Volcano, The Science, Magic and Meaning of Volcanoes, written by Catherine Ard and illustrated by Wenjia Tang, is a beautiful illustrated non-fiction book about all things volcanoes, from the science behind them to the myths and legends that they have inspired. Next. The book covers the science, their various forms in nature, the amazing scientists that study them, and much more. Next. Including volcano references in both literature and film. This is the perfect book for budding scientists and artists, or just volcano enthusiasts. Next. Catherine Ard is based in the UK and has spent 15 years working as a children's non-fiction editor. Wenjia Tang lives in China but has studied and lived in the US. Into the Volcano is out in hardback on September 3rd. Next. An Illustrated History of Urban Legends by Adam Alsuch Boardman is a skeptical inquiry into urban legends from Atlantis to the Hollow Earth conspiracy and everything in between. Next. It covers the weird and wonderful from all corners of the world and throughout time, from the 15th century through to the current day. Next. This is the perfect gift for any conspiracy fanatic in your life, the person who cannot stop researching weird things and who is fascinated by strange phenomena. Previous titles in the series include An Illustrated History of UFOs and An Illustrated History of Ghosts. An Illustrated History of Urban Legends was recently reviewed in Kirkus. Next. Adam is based in the north of England and loves everything to do with the weird and wonderful. An Illustrated History of Urban Legends is out in hardback on September 3rd. Next. And finally, Shackleton's Journey by William Grill. To celebrate 10 years since the original publication of this wonderful book, we are releasing an updated edition. Next. This award-winning classic book now has additional content regarding the shipwreck found in 2022 and a foreword from the explorer Sir Ranulph Fiennes. Next. In the last days of the heroic age of exploration, Ernest Shackleton dreamed of crossing the frozen heart of Antarctica, a place of ferocious seas, enchanted mountains, and a bone-chilling cold. Follow him and his crew on their amazing adventure on the Endurance. The Guardian named Shackleton's Journey a book every house should have. Next. Sorry, I do have one more slide. Will is based in the UK and is the youngest ever recipient of the Kate Greenaway Award, now known as the Carnegie Medal for Illustration. Shackleton's Journey, the updated edition, is out in hardback on September 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Our next presentation will come from Allie Russell. Allie is the marketing manager at Nosy Crow. She started her publishing career over a decade ago and gained marketing experience in textbook, magazine, and trade publishing. Previously, she worked at Candlewick Press as the consumer and educational outreach manager, where she forged partnerships, helped produce the corporate podcast, and co-managed social media. Thanks for being here, Allie. The floor is yours.
Thank you. If you haven't heard the news, Nosy Crow Inc. is the North American wing of Nosy Crow Limited in London. We launched in 2022, and we're excited to share some of our fall 2024 titles with you. So first, are you ready for the games to begin? We'll start in the cold, dark depths of a dungeon where you'll meet our hero, Kit, who has had a lifelong dream of being a dungeon runner. What's a dungeon runner? It's kind of like a professional athlete, except the sport is navigating treacherous mazes and monsters, and it's all televised on a fantasy sports network, kind of like that four-letter one in our world that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name. Of course, Kit is accepted into the league, but his journey won't be easy because he's part gnome, part dwarf, a Norf, if you will, which means his height is a real disadvantage. But with the support of his two new friends, Sandy and Thorn, Kit is ready to take on the adventure. Dungeon Runners is the first book in a new action-packed series for young fantasy and role-playing game fans ages 7 to 10. Dungeon Runners was created by author Kieran Larwood and his son while playing a tabletop RPG during the pandemic, and it includes illustrations from Joe Todd Stanton in the form of maps and trading cards throughout. If you dare, you'll have a chance to enter the leagues and fight your way to the top in early September when Dungeon Runners Level 1 Hero Trial releases simultaneously in hardcover and paperback. On to something with far fewer monsters but an equal amount of adventure. Now we'll go above ground to the classic world of Prince Edward Island and Anne of Green Gables. Lounge beneath wild cherry trees and tightrope walk across roofs with Lucy Maud Montgomery's iconic empowered young girl and later young woman, Anne of Green Gables. You're probably thinking, I've seen many editions of Anne of Green Gables, but not like this. This edition of Anne of Green Gables contains immersive and tender illustrations by Isabel Folleth, a textured jacket with foil over a cloth foil inlay cover, and a ribbon bookmark. This is the third book in our Nosy Crow Classics series. The first was The Wind in the Willows, which was celebrated by the Wall Street Journal. We think you'll find our Anne is perfect for young readers because it has illustrations on every spread, and its original word count, over 100,000 words, has been expertly adapted by Catherine Woodfine for a new generation of soon-to-be fans. This Anne of Green Gables is accessible and an unstoppable force in continuing the legacy of Carrots, aka Cordelia, aka Anne of Green Gables. When you've finished reading Anne of Green Gables, you'll probably want another cozy book to welcome the holiday season. Good news. You'll soon be able to curl up with a cup of tea and a poem each day of December with this first of its kind fold-out secular advent calendar featuring poetry from Ogden Nash, Nikki Giovanni, Christina Rossetti, and many other familiar names. To discover each day's surprise, readers need only pull on the flap to reveal a poem, all of which are accompanied by cozy, tranquil art from illustrator Richard Jones. If Richard Jones's art looks familiar, that's because he's one of the illustrators whose work was featured in Neil Gaiman's recent picture book, What You Need to Be Warm. 'Tis the Season is truly the gift that keeps on giving because it can be read again and again every December, and with its red ribbon closure, cloth-like cover, and shiny silver foil, it's already beautifully wrapped and ready to gift to the next reader. While this book is a family affair that's perfect for all ages, it's best suited for readers ages 4 to 8. So prepare to create warm, festive memories year after year and join the chorus of early readers who are already excited about 'Tis the Season. The main character of this next story might have fared well in the cold, cozy pages of 'Tis the Season, but he's stuck at the zoo, but only briefly. Everyone has dreamed of taking home a penguin from the zoo, but probably not one with selective taste buds and a fedora. Meet Pascal. He's tired of eating fish, fish, fish. He's ready for more exciting flavors. When he hitches a ride home with his new friend Nabil, Pascal is in for the feast of a lifetime. In this new picture book for ages 4 to 8, author Nishani Reed tells a sweet story about welcoming newcomers, and Janissa Bionda illustrates mouth-watering meals that you'll want to eat right off the page. We're so pleased to share that Pascal the Very Hungry Penguin is the delightful result of an open submissions project for picture book creators of color that took place in the UK, and we're thrilled to be publishing this book here in the States now. Pascal the Very Hungry Penguin, along with Anne of Green Gables, will feature Stories Aloud, a free audio narration of the book, which is easily accessible to readers simply by scanning the QR code on the back of the book. When scanned, the QR code takes readers to a landing page where they can read along while listening to the story. So we have for you a short sample from I'm Going to Be a Princess, which published last fall.
But Maya, said Mom, there are so many fantastic things you could do when you're all grown up. You could be an architect who...
And if you're a fan of Michael Palin of Monty Python fame, we highly recommend getting your hands on a copy of the Nosy Crow edition of The Wind in the Willows. You'll be so delighted to hear his voice when you scan the Stories Aloud QR code. Moving along, author Lou Peacock is up to her regular shenanigans, but this time she's teamed up with funny guy Jed Adamson, whose illustrations have been praised by Publishers Weekly for being colorful, quirky, and fun. In The Bear, the Book, and the Blanket, little minion-like bunnies are desperately trying to get baby ready for bed. However, their search for baby's missing teddy results in countless acts of charming mischief that end up hindering the bedtime process. In this bouncy, boisterous bedtime book, the narrator speaks directly to the reader in a child-friendly and humorous tone, and kids will appreciate the wordless ending. Spoiler alert, the bunnies are sleeping soundly at the end, but baby is awake and at it again. If there's one thing that I think we do really well at Nosy Crow, it's chaotic bedtime books. So we're very excited to add this to a collection that already includes funny favorites like The Quickest Bedtime Story Ever, How to Count to One, and Hen in the Bed. And now, the dog book you always wanted as a kid. Can dogs really understand us? Do they have feelings? A World of Dogs isn't your average book about dogs. This one offers a global and diverse look at dogs from locations around the world. It covers dog biology, the history of dogs, both as pets and working dogs, such as those that assist people with disabilities, and answers many of those age-old canine-related questions that a kid might ask an adult, like, is a dog's mouth actually cleaner than a human's? A World of Dogs was written by Atlanta-based author Carly Sorosiak, who accidentally adopted an American dingo. Luisa Uribe's soft and pleasant art will keep young readers turning the pages to see all kinds of dogs and an illustrated depiction of the author Carly, which you can see here, who secretly pops up in some spreads. This celebration of fascinating facts and amazing real-life dog stories is well suited for ages 7 to 10. A more playful and energetic alphabet book than D is for Dog. This one will make kids sit, roll over with laughter, and most importantly, learn. A is for action, B is for bark, C is for catching a ball in the park. From funny author M. Linus, get ready for an amusing alphabet book that celebrates the antics of humans' best friend while teaching young readers their ABCs. Dog lovers will appreciate the wide range of pups presented throughout, including poodles, Tibetan Mastiffs, Scottish Terriers, and more. With comical illustrations throughout, readers will be especially delighted by the full-color double spreads at the beginning and end, which feature funny illustrations of each dog along with their breed names. Dogs have a lot of fun, and kids, especially those ages 2 to 5, will have just as much fun reading this cheerful alphabet book. But why should dogs have all the fun? Of course, we have something for the cat lovers too. What is your favorite feline trying to tell you? Young readers can find out in this friendly and funny first book about cats and the many ways they chat with us. From veterinarian and author Dr. Jess French, this age-appropriate book will start discussions about how to treat animals and teach young pet owners how to appropriately respond to a let me go cat or a play with toys cat or even a hiss and spit cat. US-based illustrator Penelope Dulligan's illustrations are funny and accurate and show kids just how to read animal body language. And of course, we have something for the dog lovers too. Puppy Talk is the companion book to Cat Chat. It follows the same format and covers a variety of dog breeds. Both books have back matter and include expert advice for reading animal body language. And last but not least, the kind of kids book you didn't know you wanted, one with crime scenes, caution tape, and bloody footprints. The second book in the all-women authored series, How to Be a Detective, will pique the interest of curious kids, mystery lovers, and anyone with a general interest in puzzles and crime solving. The author, Alexandra Beaver, has been a detective with the Thames Valley Police for 15 years. Though the book is written through a British lens, our North American edition has been fully updated to account for differences in how the United States approaches crime in the legal system. Also included a history of detectives, info on how to become a detective, what happens in court, and other crime-fighting jobs to pursue, like fingerprint analyst, handwriting expert, or forensic artist. If you don't know what book to give a young sleuth between the ages of 7 to 10, mystery solved. How to Be a Detective is the perfect book to feed their fascination, and it'll show them the many ways they can be of service to fellow citizens if they choose to pursue a career in crime fighting. Thank you so much for your time today. If you have questions or would like to reach out to us about our books, you can contact me at allie@nosycrow.com, or you can reach us at pr@nosycrow.com, or visit our website, www.nosycrow.us. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. Our final presenter will be Kristen Luby. Kristen is the Associate Director of School and Library Marketing at Abrams. Kristen will celebrate her 1-year anniversary at Abrams in January, following previous positions at Macmillan Children's and Penguin Random House. She is proud to work with Abrams' talented creators, including Jeff Kinney, Nathan Hale, Andrea Beatty, Duncan Tanatayu, and so many more. Kristen fell in love with reading at her hometown library in Middleton, New Jersey, and visits her local Bay Ridge branch of the Brooklyn Public Library as often as possible. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you, Taylor. And hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm excited to share some of our upcoming fall 2024 highlights with you. Just a note, you can find our full 2024 catalog on Edelweiss and on our website, abramsbooks.com, to learn more about our full list of picture books, chapter books, middle grade, graphic novels, and young adult stories. Next slide. And now let's get started with picture books. Next, from New York Times bestselling and award-winning author Carol Boston Weatherford comes an inspiring new picture book, Hair Like Obama's and Hands Like LeBron's, illustrated by Savannah Durr. This is an ode to powerful men in Black history, encouraging young Black and Brown readers to take inspiration from their role models and gain confidence in their own unique abilities and talents. Next, I have hair like Obama's and hands like LeBron's. My mind is more magical than Ice McDonald's wands. My legs, like Michael Jordan, shatter records with a leap. My soul is kissed by Africa. The future is mine to keep. Next, the story is inspired by the famous White House photograph of 5-year-old Jacob Philadelphia touching President Barack Obama's hair. That was a pretty big highlight of my life, said Jacob in 2022. If I get to see another Black man be at the top, be at that pinnacle, then I want to follow his lead. As Carol explains in her author's note, representation matters is more than a hashtag. My poem encourages young people to use their gifts to reach their own potential. Next, the book includes many Black leaders, athletes, inventors, and explorers like Michael Jordan, Colin Kaepernick, Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall, and more. The book also includes back matter, introducing readers to the people featured in the book. Next, from Cree author Deirdre Haverlock comes a beautiful picture book biography of Cree activist and musician Carol Powder, with beautiful artwork by illustrator Afalandra. Next, Carol Powder learned to drum as a young girl from her grandfather Moshe. Drumming is a way to honor the ancestors and preserve traditions that have been passed down through generations with love and pride. Next, as she grew up, Carol passed down songs to children, grandchildren, and women in her community, even as women and children became increasingly excluded from drum circles. Next, but Carol didn't give up. She founded her own drumming group, the Chubby Cree, led by women and children, to spread joy, healing, and unity. Empowering and joyfully illustrated, the Heartbeat Drum is a radiant celebration of Indigenous traditions, finding your voice and speaking out. Next, The Idea in You is the debut picture book from best-selling author and 6-time Grammy Award-winning artist Questlove. As he explains in his author's note, Questlove grew up in a family of artists, including musicians, authors, and screenwriters. Next, he learned in his childhood how to find inspiration and ideas within himself and the world around him. Questlove says, ideas are what the future needs, and it all starts with encouraging our youngest minds. Next, the story follows a young child who finds an idea and learns to play with that idea. Look at it from all angles, gather inspiration from the world around them, listen to the melodies inside of them, collaborate with others, touch and tune and tweeze that idea, sprinkle in more flavor, because an idea can come from anywhere, but it's up to you where that idea will go. Next slide. The book is gorgeously illustrated by Coretta Scott King, honor-winning illustrator Sean Qualls, who captures the wonder of imagination and inspiration in his stellar artwork. Next, from acclaimed author Winsome Bingham, author of The Walk and Soul Food Sunday, comes a moving and deeply personal story, Missing Mama, beautifully illustrated by Raheli Jamapour Bell. This is the comforting and ultimately hopeful story of a child whose mother is affected by PTSD. Next slide. Mama wears combat boots, a camouflage jacket, and a U.S. Army tag on her chest. She is a fighter for her country's freedom, but she is also a fighter for her family. But when Mama comes home from a long deployment, something has changed. Our narrator, Mama's baby, misses her big hugs, gardening outside, and dancing to Beyonce like they used to. Next, this sensitively written picture book portrays the experience of some of the nearly 2 million female veterans in the United States. Winsome writes from her own experience as a veteran with PTSD, never sugarcoating the tough subject matter, and makes it clear that this isn't a story about a child saving a parent. Rather, it shows how a family's love for each other can help them get through even the hardest days together. Next slide. And Mama and baby learn that there will be days of sadness and days of joy, and they need to take advantage of every moment of joy. Moving on to chapter books and middle grade. On the next slide, we have a brief look at all the stellar continuing and best-selling series coming this fall. Fortunes and Frenemies is the third book in this fun Wildwood Witch series about a social media loving tween who's also a witch. The Star Horse, a new book in the Once Upon a Horse series inspired by real horses and the people who love them, perfect for your horse lovers. Oliver's Great Big Universe. This is for fans of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They will love the illustrated diary format, and this series is action-packed and full of STEM facts. Kirkus just gave this second book a starred review and said the series will hook readers on science. The Woofmore is Not Haunted. This is a Possum new series about a luxury dog hotel that is maybe haunted. Next slide. Life-Changing Magic of Baking. This is a beginner's guide to baking from social media sensation and award-winning baker Joy Wilson. This is the fourth book in the series, following books about skateboarding, chess, and drumming, so be sure to go back and check those out. Sea of Gold, Duke's Curse. This follows in the tradition of Treasure Island. It's a high seas swashbuckling adventure. Book 19 in the Wimpy Kids series is here, and it's a hot mess. I feel very seen by this title. Thank you, Greg Heffley. And the newest collaboration from Henry Winkler, Lynn Oliver, and Dan Santat is Detective Duck, Case of the Strange Splash, another splashing new eco-mystery starring your favorite duck detective. Next, in middle grade, on the island of Merlonk, the dead must not be allowed to linger. The very sight of their ghosts can kill you. Thus sets the stage for critically acclaimed Frances Harding's chilling new middle grade gothic fantasy, The Island of Whispers, accompanied by striking illustrations by award-winning illustrator Emily Gravett. Next slide. On the misty island of Merlonk, the dead can cause unspeakable harm if they're not safely carried to the island of the broken tower where they can move on. Readers will meet young Milo, who is unexpectedly thrust into the role as ferryman of the dead. Milo must race to the broken tower island to fulfill his duty while pursued by boats filled with armed men and sinister magicians and facing swarms of deadly moths and strange headless birds. Next. Filled with suspense and Harding's signature sparkling prose, this new story will keep readers on the edge of their seats in this remarkable and ultimately heartwarming story of grief, family, kindness, and being true to yourself. Next, continuing in middle grade, some of Earth's strangest and creepiest wonders lie deep below the surface. From TikTok sensation and educator Gio Rutherford, the creator of the hit series Spooky Lake Month on TikTok, comes Spooky Lakes, a thrilling nonfiction book that plumbs the depths of 25 unusual lakes around the world. Next, accessible with a lightly spooky feel, a kid-friendly voice, and a STEM hook, Rutherford knows how to captivate kids while encouraging them to engage with science, learning about hydrology and climate preservation alongside natural phenomenon that have puzzled and amazed scientists. Next slide. The book is backed by extensive research and packed full of eye-catching illustrations and almost too spooky to be true science facts. It would make an entertaining and educational pick for your Halloween collections. Next, in case you missed it, we were excited to launch a new imprint this year, Abrams Fanfare. This new imprint will become the home of our early reader, middle grade, and YA graphic novels, and we have some absolutely fantastic new graphic novels coming this fall. First up, Great Minds of Science. Matilda Evans, Archie Alexander, Gladys West. These aren't names that many people learn about in school, but they're some of the greatest scientists that people should know about. In this new graphic novel series, award-winning author Tanya Bolden and illustrator David Wilkerson celebrate the lives and contributions of Black innovators throughout history. The first book in the series focuses on scientists, engineers, mathematicians, and biologists. Next, like Patricia Clark Washington, the first Black woman captain of a major U.S. Air Service and the first Black female pilot hired by UPS. In the 1990s, when Patricia became a captain at UPS Air, of over the 1,000 pilots they had, only 59 were Black women. Next slide. Or acclaimed mathematician Gladys B. West, who played a pivotal role in developing GPS technology, but she began her education in a one-room schoolhouse in rural Virginia. As Gladys says, I never stopped one moment just to feel sorry for myself and say, oh boy, I'll never make it. I just said, what's next? Tanya Bolden uncovers inspiring and outstanding stories in Black history and excellence in this must-have addition to your nonfiction graphic novel collections. Next, from New York Times bestselling award-winning creator of The Faithful Spy, John Hendricks, comes The Mythmakers, a graphic novel biography of two literary lions, C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. Hendricks shares the remarkable story of their friendship and creative fellowship and how each came to write their masterworks. Through narrative and comic panels, Hendricks chronicles Lewis and Tolkien's idyllic childhoods to the horrific experiences in the trenches of World War I, to their first meeting at Oxford in 1929 and aftermath of World War II. Above all, this is a story of enduring friendship and the power of creative community. Next slide, please. And the very real value of and hope that can be found in fantasy worlds. Tolkien and Lewis remain curriculum staples in schools, and new generations of readers are discovering the worlds of Lewis and Tolkien every year, with new adaptations in the works like Amazon's Rings of Power Season 2 coming this fall. This book adds some much needed context to their works, as well as being a great read for any adult Tolkien or Lewis fans. Next slide. Finally, moving on to young adults. A big YA book coming this fall, Jordan Afueko is the New York Times bestselling author of Raybearer and Redemptor, which both received numerous starred reviews and Best of the Year list picks. The Maid and the Crocodile is a romantic standalone fantasy set in the same world. This is the perfect entry point for new readers, as well as fans of Jordan Afueko. The crocodile is a return fan favorite character from Raybearer. Jordan has a knack for combining lush literary world writing with fantastic world building. In this new story, Small Charday is an orphan who is about to age out of her orphanage, and she must find work as a maid with employers who don't mind her unlucky foot. When she crosses paths with the crocodile, a god rumored to devour pretty girls, he doesn't realize she has a secret power of her own, and she may use it to spark a revolution. Next, finally, last but certainly not least, Sky Shade, Book 3 in Book Talk Sensations Alex Astor's #1 best-selling Lightlark series is coming this November. The action picks up right where we left off in the last book, with Isla reeling from a brutal battle and torn between the treasonous love she has for the ruler of Nightshade and knowing she must do anything she can to save Lightlark and its king. Between action-packed fantasy, warring kingdoms, and love triangles, there's a little something for everyone in this book, so make sure to check your holds. This is a hotly anticipated title, and if your teens haven't read Lightlark, this is the next great fantasy to add to their list. Next, and that's all from me. Thanks again for tuning in. Please feel free to reach out to me to request ARCs of these books, and the spreadsheet Booklist set also includes digital preview copies. And like I said, you can find our full catalog on Edelweiss and on abramsbooks.com. Thanks again, and back to you, Taylor.
Thanks so much, Kristen, and a huge thank you to all of today's wonderful panelists. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, slide presentation, title list, and a certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones, like those you see here. Heading to sunny San Diego for ALA Annual? Be sure to stop by the Booklist booth, number 635, for tons of bookish happenings. We'll have copies of Booklist and Booklist Reader, our new Guide to Graphic Novels issue, book giveaways, author signings, a reader recommendations wheel, and more. Plus, be sure to get your tickets for the Michael L. Prince Awards and the Andrew Carnegie Award ceremony and reception to hear some amazing authors and celebrate reading. Find more details on the Booklist website. Staff training, in-services, local conference, Booklist can help. You can now request free copies of Booklist and Booklist Reader for upcoming staff training programs so you can help the next generation of library workers become readers, advisory, and collection development superstars. Scan the QR code on the screen, visit our website, or email info@booklistonline.com for more details. Whether you are traveling overseas, across the country, or via armchair this summer, we have your next beach read. Subscribe now to get print and digital copies of Booklist and digital and shareable issues of our new patron-friendly product, Booklist Reader, for a special webinar price of $99. In addition to these publications, you'll also get archive access, extra online content, and our 2024 Guide to Graphic Novels issue, mailing this July. Head over to the Booklist website for details. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. A huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, Norton Young Readers, Albatros Books, Flying Eye Books, Nosy Crow, and Abrams Books. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.